Most people think the problem is anxiety. Others believe it's stress, overthinking, or simply a busy mind. But what if the real reason your brain refuses to shut down at night has nothing to do with your personality, your habits, or even your mental health? Every single night, millions of people lie down exhausted, eyes closed, body begging for rest, and yet their mind suddenly wakes up. Thoughts begin to race, random memories appear, small worries feel enormous, and the harder they try to relax, the more alert they become. This creates a silent frustration that almost no one talks about. Because from the outside, everything looks fine, but inside, it feels like your brain has forgotten how to switch off. What makes this even more confusing is that the same person who can barely keep their eyes open during the day suddenly feels mentally active the moment their head touches the pillow. And night after night, the same pattern repeats. At first, people try to ignore it. They assume it will pass. They blame a stressful week or a bad day. But over time, something deeper happens. The bed stops feeling like a place of rest, the night becomes associated with tension, and the simple act of going to sleep starts triggering alertness instead of calm. This is where most people go wrong. They believe sleep is something you must force. They believe the solution is to control the mind, to push thoughts away, to fight the mental noise. But the human brain does not work like a switch. It works like a system, one that responds to signals. And right now, without realizing it, many people are sending their brain the wrong signals every single night. The brain's primary job is not happiness, it is safety. Throughout human history, nighttime meant danger, predators, uncertainty, lack of visibility. So the brain evolved to become more alert when it senses unresolved information, emotional tension, or uncertainty. In the modern world, the threats are no longer physical, but the brain hasn't changed. Unfinished tasks, unanswered messages, mental overload, constant stimulation, all of these are interpreted by the brain as unfinished business. So when external noise disappears at night, the brain finally has space to surface everything it thinks you haven't dealt with. This is why the mind races when the lights go off, not because something is wrong with you, but because your brain believes it's protecting you. The problem is that most people respond by doing the exact opposite of what the brain needs. They scroll their phone to distract themselves. They turn on the TV. They force relaxation techniques. They try to suppress thoughts. And every one of these actions sends the same message. There is something wrong. Stay alert. Over time, this conditions the brain. The brain learns that nighttime equals mental activity, that the bed equals thinking, that silence equals threat. This is how a temporary sleep issue becomes a long-term pattern. What's worse is that once this pattern forms, it begins to affect more than just sleep. People wake up tired, their focus drops, emotional resilience weakens, small problems feel heavier, and slowly they begin to feel disconnected from their own body. But here's the part almost no one explains. The brain does not need to be forced into rest, it needs to be guided. There is a specific sequence the brain follows before entering deep recovery mode, and if that sequence is interrupted, even subtly, the brain will resist sleep no matter how tired the body feels. This is why some people can fall asleep instantly anywhere, while others struggle every night, despite doing everything right. The difference is not discipline, it's signaling. When the brain receives the right signals, it naturally downshifts. Thoughts slow down, the nervous system relaxes, and sleep happens on its own. The mistake is assuming that rest begins in the body. In reality, rest begins in the nervous system, and the nervous system responds far more to patterns than to intentions. This is why telling yourself, "I need to sleep," never works, why counting hours increases anxiety, why watching the clock makes things worse. The brain interprets urgency as danger. What it needs instead is reassurance. Signals that tell it nothing needs to be solved right now, nothing is missing, nothing requires action. Once the brain understands this, it releases control, and when control is released, rest follows. This is the foundation behind a growing approach that focuses not on forcing sleep, but on retraining the brain's response to nighttime. Instead of fighting thoughts, it teaches the brain to categorize them as non-urgent. Instead of suppressing alertness, it gently redirects it. People who use this approach often describe the same experience. At first, they notice that the mental noise becomes quieter, not gone, just softer. Then nights start feeling less tense. The bed no longer triggers anxiety, and eventually sleep becomes something that happens again instead of something they chase. What's important is that this process does not rely on medication, it does not require complex routines, and it does not force the mind into silence. It works because it aligns with how the brain already functions. If your brain has learned to stay alert at night, it can also learn to relax again. Learning happens through repetition and correct signaling. This is why quick fixes rarely work, and why true change feels subtle at first, but lasting. If you've watched this far, chances are this explanation resonates with you. You may recognize yourself in the cycle, the exhaustion, the frustration, the feeling that your mind is working against you. But the truth is, your brain is not broken. It's just been trained in the wrong direction, and training can be reversed. There is a short presentation linked below that explains this process in a very clear step-by-step way. It shows how to communicate safety to the brain at night, how to interrupt the alert loop, and how to rebuild the natural transition into rest. Many people find that once they understand what their brain actually needs, everything starts to make sense. If you decide to watch it, pay attention to how simple the approach is, and notice how different it feels from everything you may have tried before. The link is in the description, and when you're done, come back and share what stood out to you the most. Because once you understand how your brain truly works at night, sleep stops being a mystery and starts becoming natural again.